Well, today, you're not going to believe it. I've got the legendary Donald here. Donald Humes, that is. It's going to be a great discussion. He's a great guy.
I'd be thinking while I'm sleeping.
Oh.
I don't really get the rest that I need. I'd figure out a job in my sleep.
Have you found that you can figure a job better at the red light than you can sitting down and actually figuring it up?
Yes, I can do better that way. Just, do it. To sit down and just figure it out, I really miss a whole lot of.
I do the same thing. But I'll know about what it costs before I figure it. Right. And if the figures don't match it, then I keep working till the figures match what I was thinking.
I do about the same. Only thing I found out different now, materials and stuff is so high. And people are really picky now. They want to...
People are pickier.
They want to get what they want to get for the money they spent, which I can understand that, But I noticed in the last 5 or 6 years since materials that went up high, and people are really questionable now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I furnish everything, and I take no money until my job is finished. Yeah. That's a bad habit I have in business, and my wife gets on me all the time. Sometimes I run a job 10, 15, 20,000 out of my pocket. Then I notice when you go give them a bill, they don't understand that I didn't get paid, make a draw every 2 weeks or every week, and they get that big bill, they freak out,
Yeah.
It's like that. That's the only problem I have in business that I never could ever stop.
Well, I don't want to take the time or something. It's like it takes too much time to figure up an interim bill or something. Plus, have you ever had this? Some people won't send you a bill for I believe it's Farrell Calhoun. They don't send their bills out till like the 12th.
Right.
And if you finish your job on the 2nd, you may not get a bill till the 12th. I always end up paying that out of my pocket.
Whenever you read a story in the newspaper or see something on television about somebody getting arrested, you naturally assume they're guilty. Unless the story's about you or someone you love, then you'll think differently. And you'll want a lawyer who will defend you. My name's Scott Canavis. If you or someone you love has been charged with a crime, call me. I'll return your phone calls, I'll work on your case, and I will defend you.
I've been in business 43 years, and I can count the customers that they never called me back on 10 fingers. And reason why, I probably did a job for them that painted couldn't get to it or something.
Yeah.
But I always found out in business, you got to realize, back in the 70s, I was the first black licensed contractor in Cleveland, Tennessee. So when I started my business, Dee, I had to be the best, but I had to be the cheapest.
You had to be.
I had to be.
Or they weren't going to use you.
They wasn't going to use me because you got to realize it was 150 more white contractors in Cleveland before I got here. So I had to be the best, and I had to prove myself, prove. It took me probably 15 years to get where I wanted to go in business. I didn't just start up top. I had to work myself up to build trust. And I learned another thing in business. It was funny. This Miss Beatty on Beatty Hardware.
Yeah.
She had called me one evening, and it was about 6 o'clock. And I never will forget it. On her mother's house on Nearing Drive off Georgetown Road. And she had called me, Mr. Humes, can you come out there and give me a price on my mom's house? It was an old house and it needed some siding work done on the repair. So I went out there And I really didn't want the job because I didn't have time, so I priced it kind of high. You know what I'm saying is? So she called me back. She said, Mr. Humes, you're about $2,000 higher than the other people that came to bid on this job. She said, but I'm going to let you have it because you came when you said you was going to come. And I got that job because I come after 5 o'clock after I got off from work. And I always notice in business, when people call you for to give them an estimate, they don't want to wait till Friday. They call you on Wednesday, you know, they really want you to come Wednesday or Thursday. You'll lose a lot of work like that. So I always try to, when they call me, I even make arrangements for the next day. Some people go bid on Fridays. I don't do that. I bid a job when they call me. And to be on time, if I tell you 8 o'clock, I'm going to be on your job at 8 o'clock. And that's what keep the business going. And I always realized, Dee, they didn't have to hire me, a black contractor, to do the work because, like I'm saying, there was 150 white contractors out there, but I always did what I said I was going to do, you know, and I taught my kids, every black man is not your friend, every white man is not your enemy. As long as you learn that in life, you can make it. I had a son come home one day and he said, Daddy, they didn't give me that job because they prejudiced. And I said, wait a minute. I said, go downstairs in the den and get that old-fashioned. It was an old VCR made by Samsung or whatever. I said, you get that. He went downstairs and got, bring it up here and put it on this table. I said, who's that made by? Samsung. Where's it made at? China. I said, you think white people ain't prejudiced against the people that make that in China? What do you mean? I say, it's a good product.
That's
They
good
buy
point.
because it's a good product. You know what I'm saying? You cannot go on a job at 10 o'clock and look for a job. If you want a job, you go on the job early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Is, you know how kids get in their mind, they go use this, you know, for excuse. I never did have them excuses in my house because I made it. You know, my business is 99.9% Caucasian.
Did you ever work for John Paul Douglas?
Yep.
I remember him talking about you. He really liked you.
John, I worked for John when he was building houses. Yeah. John and, matter of fact, Preston Paris.
Yep.
I did a lot of houses for Preston Paris, but you talking about 40-something years ago.
I like Preston, didn't you?
He never made money on any job he did, though.
Well, he was good-hearted, wasn't he?
He gonna tell you he didn't make no money. He always tell me, all right, down there, sharpen your pencil, so I know what's coming, you know what I'm saying is. But yeah, he was good-hearted. He was a good man.
You know, shopping a job saves about 5%. It doesn't save 10%, does it? It saves about 5%.
Yep.
That's very little in the big scheme of things.
Yeah. And I notice people, like I was saying, I got friends that can go to Bowater and make $30 an hour, but they expect for a man like me to come paint the house for $10 an hour. And I got to pay workman comp, liability. You got to put gas in them vans. You got to have liability on them things, but that's how they think. You know what I'm saying is, you know, when you get up to charging $25, $30, $37 an hour, you're not making no money at that because you got to pay workman comp. And they think you're making a lot of money on that. You're not, you know.
If you figured workman's comp on everybody, you couldn't afford nothing.
Oh, no.
You couldn't afford nothing.
I got to pay my guys half, pay them cash.
Yeah.
Most of the time,
Yeah.
and then you got to pay them half
But
with
it's
a check.
1099.
Yeah, 1099.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got to pay them like that because, like I
Yeah.
said, I couldn't afford to
Yeah.
pay, you know.
But, you know, I think that in the future, somebody that can paint or dig a ditch will be making $50 an hour.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that can do that really anymore. I mean, it's hard to find somebody that can just do general stuff like changing oil in a car or putting up a ladder. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, you cannot find, when I went in business, you could find these guys, which all of them about have died out. They could do electrical, they could do plumbing, they could build, they could frame.
Form the driveway, pour the concrete.
Yeah, they could do, you can't find
They'd put the heat and air together.
Yeah.
I got a guy that works for me, Bill Reimer. He can do anything. Anything. And I don't know, those people were just raised different.
Well, I had a friend, you might have heard of him. Remember Wade Davis?
Yep.
You probably know the Davis. They all was good in football and baseball.
Right.
They got recognized. Well, his daddy, he was educated, not college, but finished school. Finished high school. But he never did learn how to read a blueprint. But he could sit and draw out something and build that thing just the way you want it. And I helped him when I first moved here. And he could stand on the ground. Well, matter of fact, a lot of these old black churches from here to Athens, well, he the one redid and rebuilt. He could stand on the ground and he could cut a board and make it fit. Just standing on the ground. He didn't have to measure nothing. He could stand on there and do it. He could lay brick. He could lay rock.
You know as well as I do that a lot of people don't realize that some people can carpenter and paint and wire, and it's a gift like playing a piano.
Yes.
And they don't have to learn it. It's just a given gift. And I can tell them when I see them.
Now, Dee, my dad, we run the farm. He's an A1 welder. Back at then, an A1 welder, everything he welded had to be inspected. Couldn't have a little pinhole. He welded for the government. He had shop at his house. He could build anything he wanted to. Anything he could lay rock. He could do sheetrock. He never used a piece of sandpaper on the sheetrock. He used a sponge.
Oh, yeah.
He could wire. He could sweat his own plumbing and stuffing on the farm. He would do it 100%. That's how he was. He would go, everything he bought on the farm had to be Ford or Craftsman, Sears and Roebuck back at then. He did cabinets for people, you know.
Oh, yeah.
He built cabinets. He built lamps. He would go there. He built his own log splitter. The only thing he had to buy was a motor and stuff. He welded and wheels and stuff. Our kitchen stove, this show you how smart he was. It's like an engineer. The kitchen stove is still in our farmhouse now. What he did, he went to Sears and bought the legs and the door. Well, he welded that stove back, together.
Yeah.
Put a hot water tank on it. Put a blower on the hot water tank. Couldn't afford central air and heat back at then. And what he did, he run this ductwork through the ceiling, across the ceiling. And when that blower would come on to get a certain temperature, that's how we got our hot.
Yeah.
Got our warm
That was
heat
central
and
heat and air.
Yeah, that's what.
Ductwork.
Yeah, ductwork. He just run across the ceiling. He could do all kind of stuff like that. Right today, on our farm, he probably got $500,000 or $600,000 worth of machinery and welding stuff. I don't know how to weld, but he knew how to do it all. So I kind of caught the trade from him on building and stuff. If I would have listened to him without playing ball and trying to run the little girls back there, then I could have learned a whole lot. But he was smart.
Where was he from?
Virginia.
Now, you're not originally from Cleveland. When did you move to Cleveland?
Back in the 70s.
Like 71?
No, probably about 73, 74, something like that.
If you might ask, how old are you?
I don't want to tell my age, but I'm in 70s.
Is that right? Good gosh.
70s. Yep.
What do you remember first coming to Cleveland?
What do I remember?
Yeah.
Had a construction company, TAS construction company.
Which was who?
Southern Stewart. You remember him?
Nope.
Miss Stewart, Joe Stewart's son.
I remember her.
Her son, Joey Taylor, which died a couple of years ago, Joey Taylor, Rick Anderson. We built farmlands apartments out there. They're funny. Oh,
yeah.
They're funny apartments.
Yeah, that was...
TAS.
77?
Yeah, it went long and that was one job that we worked on. Then the job that I really worked on, after we did that, I did title truss and guarantee, all that oak wood.
Oh, yeah, inside.
Yeah, because I specialize in oak. Me and several more guys we did all that over. We started that job. It supposed to took like a year and 6 months. It ended up taking 3 years. The budget probably was around $80,000 and probably ended up $260,000 back in.
How old were you then?
30, probably about 36.
So you'd been to Cleveland for about
3 years.
3 years.
4 years. And had some good workers. You remember John Chapman?
Yep.
He could draw. Me and him worked together. Mike Chris. I don't know whether you remember Mike and Mitchell Chris, two twin boys.
Nope, don't remember them.
Michael was one of the hell of his carpenters.
When I started remembering, I worked for my Uncle Joe Wumby forever, since I was 12. And the guys back then that was Austin Stevenson, Doug Gay, Goodwill, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Lord, I know him. I can't remember his name right now. Of course, you had Glenn Ramsey. What was his name? Goodwill? Goodwin? Anyway, John Kender was doing everybody's survey. That was a different era, wasn't it? It was just a different era.
That's when people worked. The contractors worked themselves. You know what I'm saying? Is they work. Now contractors don't hardly do no work themselves. They sub it out.
You know, back then, the carpenter was supposed to roof, form the driveway, frame, trim. He really built the cabinets. That was sort of the end of the cabinet era. And then it all got to be really specialized. And one guy formed, one guy trimmed. I remember back in the 90s, they started having people that would just put on the hardware, which was bizarre.
I remember Jim Dugan.
Jim Dugan, I remember Jim Dugan well.
Jim was running good, and he probably one of the particular contractors I ever.
You know who I think was maybe the most particular?
Who's that?
Larry Hall.
Yeah.
He was particular.
Jim, I think Jim had him beat. Jim.
It was a close tie.
Yeah,
I think Jim would build. I think Jim could build to your budget better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you had to be a budget sort of thing. Is he still alive?
Yeah.
I hadn't seen him in years.
You know how you would put the insulation board on houses?
Oh, yeah.
What you call that stuff? They make it different now, but Jim wanted all his letters to match.
Great.
No, I mean, that's how
I believe it. I believe it.
I went to do a job for Jim when he
Celotex.
Yep. When he did Robinson's board, Robinson applied. Jim said, "Come down there, Don. I want you to paint the ceiling." Had tile ceiling, the little 12-inch tile.
Yeah.
So I want you to paint the ceiling. So we started painting. And he said, "I want you to caulk every square in there." I said, "For what, Jim?" He said, "Don, dust will come through there." Couldn't no dust come through there because you know it was grooved.
Sure.
And then we caulked I bet you it's about 10,000 pieces of
On the ceiling.
On the ceiling, we caulked it. That's how particular he was. Like a post in the basement that hold the floor up, joisted, the iron posts.
Yeah.
When you painted for him, you had to sand them things. You had to prime them, do them just like it was
Paint the
upstairs
feet.
in the house, right?
Remember how they used to paint the inside of the wood columns with a mop, like a mop to keep it the moisture out?
I remember you had to, now the young painters, these painters now is a whole lot different.
Oh, it's totally different.
We had to, if we put wooden windows in, we had to back prime.
Oh, back prime, yeah.
Had to prime the inside and the outside of the windows. Now they just throw them windows in there and think. And on top of every door in the house, especially exterior doors, you had to paint the top and the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Keep the moisture up and down. These painters don't do it. And then 2 coats for the new painters is 2 top coats.
Right.
See, we primed all the wood with an all-base primer and then put 2 coats. Now they just 2 top coats, you know, that's 2 coats of them.
Yeah.
And I notice when they do sheetrock now, we used to put 3, what you call it, you know, finishing 3 times.
Yeah.
Now they finish 2 times, and if you got crown, they won't even take that out. They just butt the crown up to the ceiling.
Oh yeah, the first thing they'll ask is, "You gonna have crown?" Because they don't have that way. They don't have to finish that last the corners.
And then they'll take a board and cut it. That's a whole board to them.
Oh yeah.
See, my dad didn't make them, wouldn't do that. You use that in the closet. But they'll cut out a board, a 3-foot piece of board, and they add that as a whole board.
They'll waste 20%.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Yeah, I remember they used to paint the tops of the doors.
Yeah.
And that way, if you was on the upstairs and somebody opened the door, you'd see the painting.
Most of the time, the houses had balconies upstairs with the steps coming in. When you're up on that 2nd floor, so you can see on top of the door. You know, but they don't paint them no more. They don't even paint the outside. Don't even seal the outside of doors. That's why them doors warp on them now.
But a lot of those old builders, they would actually go stir crazy about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, tough. Especially in the 90s. Did you notice that it got even worse? I remember the ceramic tile, those little diamonds.
Yeah.
They had to be the exact same cut next to the tubs, and the tubs come, you know, they're irregular, so you really couldn't get it even that way.
That they were so. You take the older guys, carpenters. My dad, if he would build a fireplace mountain, if he would do concrete, make a walk here. You look on the side, it'll always be on the left-hand side. His niches would be in it. He was proud of his work. I can go in some of them old houses in Virginia that he worked on. You look on the side of a fireplace mantel, you see his little niches drawn on the side. You know, they always did that. They was proud of the work.
You can't even find many masons now that can build a fireplace that'll draw properly. They don't even know the mechanics of it.
They never went to school on it. You know, they didn't learn from the old people. My dad taught, like I said, my dad, he farmed, he drove to Washington, D.C. every day. That'd be, from our farm, would be 160 miles, 160 miles a day.
80 there and 80 back? That'd be like from here to the other side of Knoxville.
Okay, he'd get out his truck, go in and wash up, get off at 4:30. Time he got home, about 5:30. He'd get out his truck, go in and wash up, maybe grab a sandwich, then he'd jump on the tractor and farm the rest of the evening. And a lot of times he would go, because he would rent land maybe 9 or 10 miles away from our farm. He'd cut the hay, get the free hay, he'd cut it for him. He'd drive them tractors 9 miles, go pick it up, he'd take a baler and all that stuff over. He one-man operation. He would never let us use none of the equipment. I couldn't use the riding mower. I couldn't use the tractor. He wouldn't let us do it, said we would tear it up. That's how old people was back at then. And he would go in his shop and lock his door behind him most of the time. He didn't want us in there fooling with his tools. And every tool that he used, hand tools that he used, is on the wall, screwdriver.
Oh, he had the the outline?
He had the outline on there, and he could look at a pair of pliers. Damn pliers no good. Come from China. He just had the nick for to do all that stuff like that. And the tractors, sometimes he would take 3 tractors to the field. He'd haul 1 or 2. Sometimes he'd drive 1 9 miles or whatever. And that's the way he operated. And he would give you a tool. If you didn't bring it back or lose, you could never get no more tools. I mean, that's just how he was. And it better be clean. When I bought my first car, I bought it on a Friday, and I was profiling that Friday night. Saturday morning, I got up, and back then they put sawdust in transmissions to make it slip.
Yeah.
Well, I got in that Saturday morning. I asked my dad, I said, "You gonna help me?" He said, "That car transmission gone." He said, "I'm not gonna help you, but I'll stand here and show you how to jack it up. Go to junkyard and get your," and that's what we did. I remember I paid about $50 for a transmission. Went to junkyard and got it and come back. That was the hardest job I ever had. It was snow on the ground up in Virginia, and me and my brother, we could get the transmission, but we never could get the boats that go in. and Dad would come back and forth, tell you how to turn it. He just laughed. It took us all day to get that transmission in, but that's what he was doing, teaching us,
Where he learned that?
I'm gonna be honest with you. He, when he growing up, he was on a farm. They grew up on a farm, him and his mom, and he went to the military. So when he got out the Army, matter of fact, he was in the military. Him and Elvis Presley, them was in there all the same time. When he got out of the military, he started working for a guy, contracting that built all around through there. And he just picked it up like that. But he would go back. He never did stop going to school. He went to school till he was 70-something years old, because back then you could take correspondence courses.
From like a military, what do they call that?
No, they had an old, it used to be an old high school it's Carver High in Culpeper, Virginia, that would have car training posts where you get your license for plumbing, you get your license for electrical and all that stuff. So he knew it, but he would always go back and get his papers. You know what I'm saying? He had this thing. So he stayed in school, updated on all that stuff.
Wonder, what made him want to do that after? Was it a sense of? I guess it was a sense of accomplishment, right?
Yeah, and he wasn't a talker like I am. He was a loner. Never drank, never smoked. Only thing he knew how to do was work. But only way he would talk to you, he wouldn't approach you. You would have to approach him.
Did his mother get mad because he worked a lot, or was that just
his mother
or his wife?
My mom?
Yeah.
No, my mama used to tell me, because they lived in Virginia, I live here. She said, I'm going to find your father out in that field one day, dead. So he won't come in, but they knew how to work. See, he didn't work like a young man, he knew how he put that old straw hat on, and they had one gate, but they could get something done with that gate. He'd walk that farm, that's before you had them, or take a tractor before you got them four-wheeler. I used to go home and visit in the summer in July and August and every day or so he had to walk that farm because we got so much deer on the farm, and the deer come through at night and knock the fence down, and then the cows get out. So he had to mend fences and stuff. He did that the whole time. He did an 8-hour job.
How did you end up in Cleveland?
I came to Cleveland. What did I do? My brother was here. We lived in New York. And we moved from New York here. He moved here first.
What was the reason?
What was his reason?
Yeah.
His reason, he married a girl from Cleveland.
Who did he marry?
He married a Thompson. You probably wouldn't know him. He's been older. How old are you? 50?
I'm 59.
Okay, I thought you might have known her sons.
Tim Thompson. I know Tim.
They kin to Tim. Yeah. You and Tim about the same. But he moved down. His wife was a childhood diabetic.
How did he meet her in New York?
When they worked, she taught school, and he was the the head food person there. He was a chef.
So she went to work in New York, met him.
Right. Because see, we originally from Virginia. But when we got old enough to graduate from school, we go to college, or we go to New York or Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. was only like an hour and 20 minutes from us, hour and 15. And New York, only 300 miles. So all of my dad's family went to New York. Back at then, most black people, they moved from the country, just like up north, better jobs. You know what I'm saying? It's better jobs. And the town that I live in, it's probably one of the richest towns in Virginia. It's Orange County, Virginia. Home of James Madison, President James Madison. Governor Kemper is on one side of us, and James Madison is on the other side. You can walk. I can walk to Governor Kemper's house in 10 minutes, 5 minutes from my house.
What did your brother say to you to make you want to come to Cleveland?
Start a business, restaurant. We started it.
Which restaurant?
Up on the hill going out on Inman Street. Used to be Sweet Daddy Ken's Barbecue on the left there.
On the left going out?
Yeah.
Is that where Ronnie Pearson's place is now?
No, back this side.
Back this side.
On the left, before you turn up Sheila Street, like you go past my house.
Yeah.
It's on the left.
Oh.
It's a block building there on the left, on that little hill.
Yeah.
I own that building up there. We had a restaurant in there.
What'd you serve?
Barbecue.
Did you have to cook it and everything?
But times you couldn't get no help. And I didn't want to be confined every weekend, every Friday and Saturday.
What was Cleveland like then? What was that, like 73, 74?
Yeah.
So I would have been about 8 or 9.
Yeah. Cleveland's a good town. I mean, I had good customers.
It's a real good town, isn't it?
I seen a lot of races now. When I come to town, I'm gonna be honest with you now. I went through a lot of races.
You think it's still there, or you just
Yeah,
used
it's
to it?
always gonna be there. It's just hid. A lot of people don't know they're racist, D. They're good people, but they don't know they're racist. If you hang with a person that used the N-words racist, you are a racist. And a lot of people just don't know that, because racism is something that white people are scared to talk about. If we could sit around the table and talk about that, we could learn a lot about each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's something that's not being taught. And we got to be able to talk about it.
We can't even talk about it, can we?
It's sad that you can't do that. I can get out at Lowe's, and there can be a white lady sitting in the truck or a car. When I get out, you can hear that door say clinker. The stereotype. It's like that. And I put it where the goats
She don't know
can get
you're
it.
dogging you.
That's right, but I put it where the goats could get it. But it's like that. I've seen a lot of stuff in my time that wasn't right, and I've seen a lot of racism toward me when I first started working, but I lived through it. You know what I'm saying is?
You think it's better now?
I don't think it's a whole lot better. It's a little better. I don't think it's a whole lot better.
Not a whole lot better.
No, because I see stuff going on now that went on in the 60s and 50s. I see it's still going on. But like I said, until we can talk about it, my family is like a brochet of flowers. I got all different colors in my family: white, black.
You have mixed in your family?
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 4, 9 mixed grandchildren.
Is that right?
Yeah, and all of them good kids, never had problems. 2 of them went to West Point. 2 brothers went to West Point and graduated. Well, one of them's in West Point now. No, he graduated in May. So he's, you got to get 5 years back after you go to West Point to the military. And they didn't have no problem. I mean, at first it was scary, but they didn't have no problems. People always said back when I was coming, they got them biracial kids, they ain't gonna do them or have problems. That's a lie.
That ain't no problem.
It's the people that have the problems.
Isn't Haley Berry mixed or something?
Yeah, pretty.
Boy, she is, isn't she?
She's a nice looking woman.
Yeah.
But I got a sister that just passed.
We all may be more mixed than we realize.
We are. You mixed too.
I mean, really.
You got Indian in you.
I got Indian and Italian.
You got Indian or black or something. You got some black in it. If you got Italian, you got black in you. That's what
That's
my
the
mama
truth.
told me. That's
Italians,
right.
they weren't too picky, were they?
But we all mixed up with some color, but it shouldn't be no color thing. I just don't. I'm not colorblind. But D, I get along. I'm gonna tell you something about me. I'm straightforward. If I see you, I'm the same. You always want to see me. And another thing about me, see, I come through the era when mother them used to have borrowed money from the bank and stuff, and they had to look down and look up and scratch the head.
Yeah.
I never had to do that. Because when I went to the bank, I told them, I don't want you to give me nothing. I don't want you to give me nothing from this bank. Only thing I didn't say nothing. I said, I want a chance just like you give the whites. Give me a chance. I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to pay you back in interest. You ain't giving it to me. I'm paying you back. And that's all I can ask. And that's what I respect. And I get that type of respect. I never did go on that old. And we was not raised racist. Black people not raised racist. I'm going to tell you that. And I know a whole lot of black families. We were not raised racist. My mama used to tell us, now, Don, because I played football, Russell. Now, you got to leave them white girls alone now, boy. They go find you in the river. She never would say, you better leave them old white girls alone, them old hunkies, or call them out the names. But she was telling me and my cousins for our own benefit. That's where it was. I never did hear a black family, and we lived in the country, but we'd go to town 3 miles away, ever talk about white people like that, racist, never. But what had happened was these kids out here now, the black kids, see how bad their parents and grandparents were treated. See, they don't take the stuff what we took.
They don't have to
That's
as
right.
much.
I remember time you walk down the street, you see a white girl, you had to get her on the other side. See?
Be like that Tilly boy, right?
Yeah.
Is that his name, Tilly?
Yeah, I know you're talking about
Yeah.
down there and thing, but I've seen the time you had to sit on back the bus. Because you was black, you had to sit on back the bus. If you call the police go lock you up. They wasn't gonna lock the white guy up. I mean, that's the way it was. I was sitting in my grandmama's yard probably was about 9 or 10, and about 5 guys come up on horses and shot all my grandmama dogs. Just stand on the horse, shot dogs. Said that the farmer said the dog was killing the cows. The dog wasn't killing no cows. The dog's been in the yard. 'Cause we was out there playing. They just shot him. You call the sheriff wouldn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? They just did dogs. That's the stuff we go. And we got to be God-fearing people. Think about it. We got to be God-fearing people because our people was punished just because of their color. We are survivors. You take back at then, my great-grandmama, well, she could have killed the master anytime she wanted. They know how to make poison.
Oh, yeah.
They could have killed him anytime they wanted. They took all that treatment, masters messing with their daughters and send them off. So that tells you we got a good heart. We was labored, you know what I'm saying? Labored that we was bad people. All black people steal, all black people stink, and all black people do this, and that's not true. Per se, if you go on the news, white people killing just as much as black people killing each other. But you don't see that on the news. You always see black killing black.
You know, I got stopped for supposedly traffic violation for sitting at a red light too long. Can you believe that? And that guy he pulled me out of the car and frisked me, and I thought to myself, oh, this is what it feels like. It's a bad feeling.
Bad feeling. You was in Cleveland?
Oh, yeah.
I guess he thought you was drunk.
I don't know what he thought.
He
was
something wrong.
I mean, it was
a white cop did you like that?
Yeah, it's bizarre. It was a surreal moment. Anything could have happened. Sitting at a red light too long. Said I sit through the red light through a whole revolution. And the week before, I'd gotten stopped for running a red light. I started to ask him, well, I wish y'all would make up your mind.
Which one? Yeah, yeah, but black people, of course, I mean,
You know, they don't do that much with the Asians, do they?
No. I'm going to tell you, I go to church, but I'm not where I should be. My wife is very religious, but sometimes I got to questioning, where is God at on this? You know what I'm saying is, why would a person of color be mistreated for 416 years? I mean, come on, we built this. We built the United States, the Capitol and everything.
Fought wars.
You know, they did it off the blood and our sweat. And we still get treated like it's even the law. I mean, it's no justice for black kids. You know what I'm saying is, it's sad.
If you were a teenager that had a little bit of a hot temper, and you were black, and you got stopped from the police for not doing something, it could go really wrong quick.
I told my kids, boys, of course they young, police put your hands up.
Yeah.
And don't look for nothing. Don't look for nothing. Just put your hands up. Say yes, sir. No, sir, officer. But make sure he see your hands all the time. And that's what black parents had to tell their kids.
See, we had to worry about our kids having wrecks. Y'all had to worry about wrecks and that. So add that to it.
Right. But now, you almost got to teach your kids as being white the same thing.
I told them I've had
right.
that.
You got to do it because you get one of these cops that's scared of everything. I mean, first thing he gonna do is shoot you. See, you got to teach them that.
Well, I had
it used to not be like that.
my 19-year-old son with me. They got him out.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely bizarre. on Inman Street. When does that happen? What could I have been doing?
Young cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they poking.
Phew, crazy.
Yeah, they just gun hold. I mean, you know, they just like that, and they.
I mean, if they're scared, don't stop me. I didn't do nothing.
Well, I think if you're scared, you ought not to be on the police force.
They ought to pay policemen $55,000 a year and really train them. Really train them.
Well, I seen last night or yesterday, 4 got killed, domestic violence. Going to a house.
4 policemen?
4 police got shot and 2 got wounded.
See, now that's the other side of it. They can't be too careful.
That's what I'm telling you.
So I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I mean, domestic violence is the worst.
That's the worst.
To go on.
That's the worst.
Because, you know, you get into it with your wife or something, then somebody else interferes, you double mad.
Oh, yeah, you're triple mad.
Yeah,
Triple
you're double
mad.
mad. So that's a scary thing. And then pulling these people over at night, state trooper have a hard job too, because you don't never know what they got in the car. You know, if they got a lot of dope, they go blast you and keep on going.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different than when the whole thing have changed now. You know, people have changed, and it's a changed life out there.
I think it's for the better. I really do. And I think maybe if there's racism, at least it's not for extreme negative stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not extreme negative.
Well, racism will never go. It's in every country, not only.
It was in the Bible,
That's
wasn't
right.
it?
So it's not going to go, but people just got to learn. I'm going to say it like this. The most uneducated, poor white, dirt poor, are the most racist people. Really, you could take a middle class, I could be a middle class white guy, a rich white guy, and I can tell the average poor white uneducated person that he's better than any black person or any N-word, if you want to use it. He'll empty his pockets. He'd give it to them. They want to feel that they are better than the blacks.
Wonder why that is.
That's the way they're being taught. My wife takes school for 40 years, still teaches. Retired, but still teaches college. And when she was retiring, she could see kids was coming back to school racist, being taught again. It was a slump. It was a slump. Then all of a sudden it started coming back. When Obama became the president, that's when a lot of it came back.
I figure that. What's the reason for that?
I don't know what
Just
the reason
more
was.
attention brought to it, maybe?
Yeah, more attention and seeing a black guy that's in power. You know, and Trump, when he come there, he brought it back triple because he made people not afraid to say what they want to say. Ku Klux Klans don't have to wear hoods no more. You just come out and say what you got to say.
Was the Ku Klux Klan, they originally weren't for racism. They were just mainly for
people who mistreated the kids.
Yeah, or the wives that the law couldn't fix.
Mm-hmm. But I've seen this Ku Klux Klans, they built a cross at our school years ago, and then they used to have rallies. They'd stop the whole country roads. Mm-hmm. They'd stop the traffic, you know, and hand out banners and stuff. But they never did bother us. My dad, you know, we'd be sitting in the back seat of the car. My dad would drive on through there. They never did bother us, you know what I'm saying? Except for setting fires and stuff.
You ever watch Fried Green Tomatoes, that movie?
Yeah.
Boy, it was a good movie, wasn't it? That was a
Jessica Tanner.
Yeah, boy, it was a good movie.
I love that movie. Mm-hmm. I tell you now, a good movie. I love Drive Miss Daisy.
I never watched that.
Well, you need to watch it.
I need to watch that.
I can watch that.
What was it about?
Old woman in Georgia that was real racist.
And the driver was black.
The driver was Morgan Freeman.
Morgan, boy, he's a good actor.
But if you would really enjoy that, and then at the end, guess what?
What?
She had to go to the nursing home. She fell in love with Morgan Freeman. Because Morgan Freeman had to go, her son, she didn't have but one son, which was a billionaire. Uh-huh. He never would come and spend no time with her and stuff, and Morgan kind of took into it, and she's a good actor.
Which one is it? So it's from Chattanooga. Is that Morgan Freeman?
Samuel Jackson.
Samuel Jackson, yeah. Boy, he's good too, isn't he?
Samuel good. Mm-hmm. Chattanooga had pretty good odds. Then what's this? They had a singer too.
Usher.
Usher's from Chattanooga.
I don't know what his story was, but that is supposedly from Chattanooga.
Yeah,
Kane Brown's from Fort Oglethorpe, isn't he?
Yeah. Usher was right around in the hood.
I tried to get Kane Brown to come here just right before he got famous, and by the time I'd gotten a contact for him, it was too late.
Yeah. But we had, like I'm saying, it's times I'm not gonna, I can't say anything about negative. I never did get rich in Cleveland, but I made a decent living. I can go and do about what I want to do, you know what I'm saying is now. But I worked hard. Didn't nobody give me a damn thing. I worked Saturdays and Sundays.
You did work.
I worked.
You
know what I'm saying? I worked. That's why my body is gone now, my legs and stuff, but I worked. I seen a time, D, I would take a 40-foot ladder and tie a 20-foot on it.
God.
To get a church steeple. Look, I didn't have no money to get no lift. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You bid them jobs, you had to do what you had to do. I painted the Athens Courthouse. Athens Courthouse, about 6 years ago. I painted it again since then. They got a big clock tower up there.
Big one, yeah, I've seen it.
Clock tower. That dome, chrome, copper dome. Mm-hmm. But they had lights all over that thing. So I had to go up there in the morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning, before the people come in.
Golly.
Before the people would come in and see.
Yeah.
Because OSHA would have fined me $50,000.
Yeah, right.
So we get up there about
And at that point, you weren't really sure how you was going to do it.
Yeah. Well, they rented a lift from Atlanta. They come up and shot it, but the lift couldn't get us around them angles. Just some of it.
There's no, it can't, yeah, I know it.
And it messed me up on that, and I had to get that job finished. So we got up at 3 o'clock in the morning because we had plenty of light because light was shining on them. We worked till about 7 o'clock and come off and then go back. But we put a 20-foot on a 40 to get up there to reach that thing.
Boy, it's dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, we had to do it. I didn't have no money, and I mean, not like to pay $5,000 a week for rent one of them big 100-something foot things.
Yeah.
But we had to do what we had to do. The church out on Peerless Road out here, they took the dome off, as you go through Georgetown, go this way in Peerless Road. What's that church? In the split right there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They got
on the right.
They got a daycare center there.
Yeah, they got a Christian daycare.
Yeah.
Well, there used to be a steep on that.
Yeah.
Had to do that the same way. Set a 40-foot ladder down there and put a 20 on it and roll it.
And you don't, anybody listening, they don't know how, just a 40-foot ladder is absolutely, it's shaking. Over 22 feet, you're shaking.
And I could take a 40-foot ladder and go around the house all day. You got to know how to balance it. I could walk with it all day long. But you would have to know how to balance it. You know what I'm saying? If you got it balanced right, you can do it. Most people don't know how to balance. Another thing, I could paint with both hands. I had to learn to paint with both hands because I didn't want to keep moving my... You get out in Anatole, them old big tall houses, 40 feet in there. So I would see, I can stretch that for 37, 67, almost 60-something inches. And I hit with both hands, then I would move my ladder. And when I was younger, D, you could chalk a line, and I could take a brush and follow that line. That's how good I was. No brag. That's how good I was when I was younger. I used to have people call me just to do the trim. You know what I'm saying? It's just to cut in the trim. That's how good I was back in there.
Did you ever put any of that Penetrol in the paint?
Yeah.
Boy, it's good stuff, isn't it?
I put it in my oil-based paint.
It'll just make it slick.
You put Floetrol and latex paint. It's
Floetrol.
a Penetrol and a Floetrol latex.
Where do you buy most of your paint from now?
Farrell Calhoun and
that's where I get
Sherman Williams. Farrell Calhoun's got a real good touch-up paint. I think the touch-up's better than, and plus they got a good price.
Plus they got Brian's son. What's his name?
I know.
Ray's grandson.
Yeah.
Remember Ray Wooden?
Yeah, I remember Ray. Yeah, Brian, that boy's a good boy.
He's a good boy, isn't he?
He's a good kid.
You know, I was up in Polk County 2 weeks ago, and I ran into Ricky Brooks at Cotton's convenience store, and he said, "Run over here with me, and I'll show you this house I'm redoing." And I went over, and we went way off the road. And we came to this house, and we started walking in, and there was a guy out there painting shutters. And I thought, well, that guy looks kind of familiar. And then I got inside, and he came up and said, "Hey, Dee, you been doing okay?" And I said, "Man, I apologize, but I don't know you, but you look familiar." And he said, "I'm Brian Wooten." I knew him like a book.
That's Ray's son.
That's Ray's son. Yeah, he had lost a little weight, and I just hadn't seen him in a while. Yeah. And he's wearing his hat this way instead of backwards, and I didn't know him. But
he's a good boy.
Have you ever noticed? Do you remember back in the day, maybe 2004, 2005, when things were just booming in Cleveland, and the sun was up, you had a cup of coffee, and everything was going right? There's not a better business to be in than this, is there?
Yeah, I mean, mine about the same all year. I never had to do new houses in the last 15 years. Only way I do new houses for one of my older customers, and I might do it, but I don't do no new. Everybody else got to do new houses to keep the guys going. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I build a relationship with my customers, you know, and it's a good relationship. You know, they trust me, I trust them, you know, and I do what I say I'm gonna do. And
you'll have 20 calls a year from the same repeat customers, and that's enough to stay.
Yeah.
The thing about an existing customer is you can tell them I'm 3 weeks out, and they know you're coming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And a new customer is a little leery of that.
Yeah, I've had customers wait on me for a year. And matter of fact, what his name, I just did that big house for Keith Hines, Georgetown.
Yep.
Old big yellow house.
Yep.
We just did that. I supposed to did that house last year, but we finally got in and finished that up about a month ago. But I got a lot of customers, they just got to wait, you know, and I try to move them around, you know what I'm saying? I get in there. Most of the time I can get in there pretty early. But this time of year, it holds you up because everybody want to get it done for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that mess you up. I was saving Keith House for this time of year, but I didn't know if the weather's going to turn bad, you know what I'm saying, on the outside. But you just got to know how to work it. Sometimes you look up and I said, damn, I don't have nothing. I said, I got 3 jobs on the book and then go home and telephone ring 2 times, you know what I'm saying? Then you got another job, you know.
I always take the worst jobs between Thanksgiving and New Year's because I've got a little lull, and I'm either thinking I can do it or I'm too busy to take it. Next thing you know, I've done screwed something up.
My wife used to ask me, why you always buy a vehicle in the wintertime? So why you always think? I said, because that makes me get out and work to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? And I never woke up, D. I never woke up and thought I had some money. My kids ask me, why you do that? I never wake up. I can have $10,000 in my pocket, but my mind, I'm broke. I tell myself I'm broke. Mm-hmm. And if I made $10,000 on a job, I think I should have made $15,000. Mm-hmm. That's how my mind, I motivate myself like that. My kids, boys ask me, why you always say that? I say, well, if I tell myself that I got $10,000, I'm not going to go to work till all of it's gone. Mm-hmm. So I got to put it in my mind, and that's the way I operate. You know what I'm saying? I always tell myself I'm broke. I got to go get it Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because for one thing, I never did like work. I never did like work when I was a kid because I was raised on a farm. Mm-hmm. And I never did like work. I never liked nobody even brag on a job to me because I think a good job is getting your mail, getting your money out the post office. But I had friends worked in these plants. Oh man, I got a good job. I never did like that because I had to work. And I probably, if my mama didn't raise me the way she raised me, I probably wouldn't work. I might have been a kid at home too, till I was 50 years old. But she made us get out and work and be independent. And that's what made me be independent.
I wonder if you ever heard the old saying, necessity is the mother of invention?
Yeah.
I just wonder if the less money you have, if you're more creative in, like putting the 20-foot ladder on the 40-foot ladder. I mean, I see that all the time. People that, like even sanding walls, they'll take the duct tape and put it on instead of buying a longer pole.
Oh, right, yeah.
So sometimes I go into these older, depressed towns and drive around and think, what's the next coming thing? Because whatever they're doing is, that's where the check cashing business came out of, bell-bottom pants. All of this stuff, it came out of necessity. Mm-hmm. Somebody that's got everything's not going to be very creative.
I found out a person that didn't work, a person that worked for it is a hell of a lot better person to get along with than a person that come a millionaire that the parents left it to him. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've seen that all of my life. A hard-working guy that worked for his stuff, he's a hell of a better person to associate with than a person that the parents left him everything.
Never fails.
Never fails.
Never fails.
Never fails. Because you take this guy that been left everything, he think he higher on the damn, he think he's higher than God. He ain't going to listen to, I would call some names that's like that, but,
And you can't hide money either, can you?
No.
If you got money, you can't hide it.
You can't.
It'll just come out.
I was happy when I had no money. I was happy.
All I want's health insurance.
Yes, I was happy.
Beyond that,
I'm happy. But I don't go to clubs no more. I don't gamble no more. Let's not go to Vegas. But I don't need no whole lot of money now. You know what I'm saying? And I don't socialize with the friends that I used to go out drinking with because they don't.
I don't want nothing, do you?
Yeah. Mm-mm. I live I got enough to bury me. Mm-hmm. And the kids can have something. That's all. That's make me happy.
If you die, where are you going to go?
What do you mean?
Who's going to bury you?
What do you mean?
Funeral home.
I don't know. I might go back to Virginia.
You might be buried in Virginia?
Yeah, I might bury up on it. Yeah.
Is your brother still here?
No, he died. He's buried here.
What'd he die
of? Worrying his damn self to death. Had a kid that he adopted and
just worried him to death.
And wouldn't take care of his kid, wouldn't take care of his own kids, and my brother ended up taking the slack up for him.
He just worried himself to death.
Worried himself to death over they was just like his kids because he adopted that little boy when they come out the hospital. Mm-hmm. But them girls, he loved his 2 granddaughters and a little boy. My brother did. Mm-hmm. He would go without to make sure they was right. And sorry, son, sold the house out there and didn't let me know nothing about it. I didn't get no pictures or nothing. Got on them pills, I think.
God. Well, people crazy. Getting on them pills, I don't know what they're thinking, dude.
Sad. But that's what happened to my brother. He's a good guy. He's chef cook.
How long's he been passed away?
2 years. It might be 3. Good guy.
Were y'all the same age?
No, he's older than me.
How much older?
He'd be 80. He'd be about 6 years older than me. Mm-hmm. He turned 80. Yeah.
What was his name?
Kenneth Humes.
Kenneth Humes. And he lived in Cleveland the rest of his life since his...
Yeah, he moved there in 70. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He did good. He moved there, but he didn't I laugh at him. He said he wish he never moved there. He just came here because he thought he was doing right. Bring his wife closer to her family, which that was good.
Yeah.
But he didn't come down here and look, see what the jobs were paying. He left there. He's probably making $20 an hour, and he come down here and did the same job for Thompson College.
For 10?
No. Back there, about $3 an hour.
Golly.
Thompson College. He was head food manager.
Oh,
out there.
Tomlinson College,
Thompson College. Well, see, when he left New York, he's making anywhere from $17 to $20 on his job. That's back in the 70s, because the chef cook was making it. He come here and but he came in. He had saved all his money up. He built a house, paid cash for it and everything. You know what I'm saying? He was good to go, but he just wasn't making the money that he made up there, because he didn't come and check on it. He should have came and stayed down there about 6 months and checked on everything. He just jumped up and sold his place up there and came here.
Well, if he hadn't have come, you wouldn't have been here, et cetera, right?
But I probably would still be in New York.
But you've been here, I've heard your name my whole life.
Oh, yeah, I've been here a long time. But I made more money in New York than here.
Did you play baseball in high school?
Play football and wrestle.
What position football?
Everyone that you could play. Fullback, tackle, anything the coach put you on.
How tall are you?
6'4".
6'4".
Mm-hmm. The coach, back at then, you know, the coach, we wanted to win a game, you know what I'm saying? Coach might pull a fluke-a-do play. The play wouldn't work. Me and my cousin, hell, back at then, black man couldn't be no quarterback. We had to run the ball and be a tackle, tight end, all that. We couldn't be no catch that ball, man.
They still don't have many black quarterbacks,
but
do
it's
they?
coming. It's coming. You see it. Most every pro team now got a black quarterback.
They say they'll dominate hockey as soon as they can heat up the room.
We could dominate in the sport that we play. We could have been the best swimmers. But see, when I come up, we didn't have no country club. We swim in the river. We could play tennis, but we didn't have no tennis court. The whites had all the tennis court, the country club. We had to learn how to swim in the river. And that's where it was back then. You know, we can dominate every sport now. We the best in every sport. I mean, we are the best.
That is really the truth.
Yeah, but except for hockey, because we don't like that. Now,
hockey, they don't have it. The room, it's not heated.
Yeah, right. And then soccer now.
I don't know about soccer.
I'm going to tell you something now. My grandkids now, they're going to be pros.
Those Mexicans they can play that soccer.
I got some grandkids to go be pro in soccer. I got one granddaughter living in South Carolina. She gonna be a pro.
I never could understand that game of soccer. It just didn't make any sense to me. It was just a kicking stuff.
I can't handle that kick.
I mean, kicking the shins and stuff like that.
I couldn't handle it. The hardest sport I played was wrestling.
I wrestled some.
Stink. Ooh,
those mats, nasty.
Stink, boy, and I mean them exercises, man.
People have to wear those funny uniforms and people would laugh at you.
Get in them sweat rooms and sweat, you stink, boy. I said, God.
If you had everything to do all over again, what would you have done?
If I had everything to do it all over again, what would I have done? I would have been a lawyer.
Prosecutor or a...
No, regular lawyer.
What type of law?
Probably criminal.
Protect the criminal?
Yeah.
That's what like Jimmy Logan?
Yeah, I would have been a lawyer, but I was no good in math.
Well, they're not either.
But I'm saying, but I wouldn't. What happened to me in math, my football coach was my math teacher, my algebra teacher and everything, so what he did, and it was funny back then where he just draw plays up on the board for us that Friday night. Well, I'm glad I ain't have I didn't learn no math. Right. I didn't learn, but when I went to college, I didn't know no math. So
where'd you go to college?
I went to Virginia State for a little while.
Did you graduate?
No, couldn't do the math. And back then when you was in college, the only thing you did was party. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We party after football games and everything. So my mama told me, she said, now you can stay at home and make a zero. she said, I'm not paying no more. And that was true.
Well, back then you had to really pay for the school, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't that much like it is now. But we had it was good. It was good, but like I said, we partied. It's about 20 of us partied because you got away from home, your parents, which was strict.
Yeah.
So we drank beer and had fun, you know what I'm saying? My mother was
How long has it been since you've had a regular job working for someone? I mean, not painting, but I mean a regular, got to be here at certain times.
Oh, that's 40-something years. When I was 12 years old, I knew what I was going to do.
Which was what?
I used to tell my mama, I said, I'm not going to work for nobody. I'm going to ride around in my truck and check on my job. If I
What
work
inspired
somebody,
you to not want to work for somebody?
the way when I was growing up, I used to cut them white people grass for 30 cents an hour. That's what inspired me. And you had to go in the back door to get a drink of water.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what inspired me. Mm-hmm. Work all day, let me see, $3. And I mean, you didn't have no weed eater. You had swing blade, cutting them banks and
Sickle,
stuff on them.
swing sickle.
Sickles. And where I live in Virginia, part where I live, had them pretty slate driveways and brick driveways, and a little grass would grow up between them things.
Yeah.
You'd take that. Worked hard, man. Then I had this white guy. He'd come down and pick me, my cousin, all of us played football. He was an older guy. He was a school teacher or something. Stayed drunk all the time. And he would take us to the rich neighborhood and we cut the grass. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He'd drop us off. And we had houses like this, and he'd come back and pick us up in the evening. We work in that hot sun, be 100 degrees, give us $5 or $6, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's where it was back then. So he taught me when he rode around in that truck, he wasn't doing nothing. I put it in my mind.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah, because he had about 7 or 8 boys. We'd get on back that truck. Mm-hmm. You've heard of Charlottesville. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's where he had Kissick, what's the name of it? It's a big place that rich people live, big golf course. That's what the grass we used to cut. So when I'm seeing him doing that, I say, I'm going to be in business for myself. I already had it in my mind to do that. And that's what inspired me to do what I was going to do. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, whether you're black or white, it's hard being in business for yourself, especially in our type of business, because it's not set rules. We almost have to have different rules every day. Every customer's different. Every job's different, mm-hmm. Every situation's different, and it's not any fun anymore.
Oh, no. It's not. Like I was telling the guy yesterday in Lowe's, is people have really changed, and time have changed the people. It's because everything is so high. You know what I'm saying? There's a gallon of paint now.
$40 for a gallon of paint?
Well, some people in Sherman-Williams be $60 if you're a walk-in customer. Well, you take a guy, I'm painting your house for $3,000 plus material. Well, you go have another $1,200 in material most of the time.
Yep.
But I don't add 10% to my, whatever I pay for my products, I just give the people the bill and let them write them a check.
Right.
Because if I would add 10 or 20% on my material, well, I mean, it'd be way out there, and I let the people know, you know what I'm saying? But you take you remember you could buy a 2x4 for 99 cents.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what they cost you now, $4 or $5?
Yeah,
plus
I had a tube of caulking's like $12. It used to be not even enough to calculate.
That's right. Mm-hmm. But that's where it is now, and people just different now. I mean, you know, they want to get the most for the buck, and I can understand that.
Materials have exceeded in cost more than labor.
Oh, yeah.
And if you ever have to take a job, sometimes I take a job and I'm not going to make anything. And I know it going in.
I take it for like that in the wintertime. A lot of time I would take a job just to keep my help going. Let them take, of course, they don't know what I do there, right. But let them keep the money, you know what I'm saying?
You ever even make it look like you've made money to the customer, but really you're paying out more than you are because you're just trying to keep it busy, keep it even?
I never did that, but I had a customer in Anatole. I did a floor. I'm not calling the name, good lady. And I had a bill. I was doing it by the hour, and I charged her about the same price by the hour. And I had this lady a bill. We was in the kitchen, in a countertop, what you call them, island. She was at an island. I handed her a bill, boy, and I handed her that bill, and she turned red in the face. She looked at that bill. She turned real red. I said, "What's wrong, Miss So-and-so?" I said, "You can't be mad because you think I charge you too much. You must be mad because I didn't charge you enough." And she bust out laughing because I hadn't charged. You know what I'm saying is, but like I said, she looked at that bill. She didn't think it was that much, but the only thing I charged about that. And I said, "You must be mad because I didn't charge you enough." She wrote the check. She bust out laughing, but some people just look like it. But I've got sometimes I'm too nice, and I know I'm too nice because I've had customers now write me letters, and when they write a check, thank you for doing such a good job. I don't think you charge enough. Here go this rate. You know what I'm saying? Miss Polk County, Hatcher Farms in Polk County. I worked for her all the time, all the way until she died. And we did jobs for her, painted her house, log cabin stuff. I was up there working one day, and I charged $30-something an hour. And we did all this work up there, and I gave her a bill. I made money by the hour. And she called me back. She said, Don, this ain't enough money. I said, what do you mean that's not enough money? She said, you did more than the thing. I said, ma'am, I charge you the same thing when I charge everybody else. Sometime I got to tack 10% on for me running back and forth. And she looked up, and next thing I know, in the mail, she sent me another $600. You know what I'm saying? She thought it was enough, and you get good people like that. My problem was I never did know how to price. I think I'm charging too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to get myself out of that this year if I stay in business a couple more years.
It's hard to find an exact way to do it, because a small job you need to make more, and a large job you technically need to make less.
That's right. That's what I try to figure.
I usually just charge 10% of the cost. Whatever the cost, I add 10%.
10% to it, yeah.
And
that can pay your help and everything?
it's something, yeah. Well, I just, whatever the help charges me.
Okay.
So we've got a mutual friend, Teresa Evans. You know her?
Yes, I've been knowing Teresa for years. She's a very good customer of mine.
She's a good businesswoman. You know, she's had gas stations, liquor stores, pharmacies, apartments, shoe stores. What, I don't know what else.
She's one of the
Construction business?
Yeah, she's probably one of the smartest women in construction that I ever worked for. Teresa is probably the best designers for inside of a house, interior, inside of a house. I mean, she know how to make everything match.
Agreed.
Everything will come out. She's probably one of the best. And what I like about her, she knows what she wants.
And if you think she doesn't know, you better think again.
That's right.
I'd hate to get on her bad side, wouldn't you?
She'll tell you straight up. That's Teresa. But me and her have been friends for years and for a long time. If she can buy something for $10 and sell it for $200,000.
You know, the other day I saw you at, what was it, Cowpies. You go there in the mornings or just when you're in that area, or when do you go there?
See, I live right on the hill.
So how often do you go there?
About 3 times a week.
That's what I go, maybe 3 times. Yeah. I'm working in Polk County now, so I go by. What time are you there usually?
7. I know, probably about, let me say, I leave my office around, most time, this time of year, 8:30.
What do you eat over there?
I just get a sausage biscuit with tomato, egg.
You get tomato on it?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they could get a tomato on it.
Yeah. Good food.
Well, those tomatoes, I've eaten their tomatoes for lunch, but I haven't eaten one in a sausage and tomato biscuit.
Yeah, they real good people, Richard. Me and Richard been friends. I used to drive a bus for Richard. Part-time. I just did it for income tax purposes.
Yeah, right.
Put thing in a...
Well, they serve a lot down there, don't they? Golly.
They serve a lot, and Richard have changed it around a whole lot since the old man died.
What was the old man? Who? Willard, yeah. John Paul used to go in there every morning.
Willard was the type of guy, he could make you feel good. He don't care if you was ugly, didn't sin, Willard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. John Paul liked him.
Yeah, but he could always make you feel good, you know, when you come in there. Yeah. He reminded me sort of like Jimmy Logan.
Jimmy Logan.
He makes you feel good. I don't care who you are. He always gonna make you feel good.
Jimmy Logan will make you think He was thinking about you yesterday.
That's right. I mean, that's his personality.
Golly.
Jimmy Logan he ought to go to heaven.
If there's a heaven,
If there's
he
a
should go
heaven,
there.
Jimmy Logan, because I've seen Jimmy Logan help black, whites, anybody that he knew. He was one of the, Jimmy Logan, he was just different. I've seen him in the courtroom, guys work for me, getting in a little trouble, child support or something. He'd come up to him, what you doing in here?
Yeah.
What they doing in here, Don? I ain't got a little speeding ticket. Come on, I handle it. Get out of here. That's where he...
That's what he does.
That's what he does. And he didn't care whether you was retarded or whatever, you know what I'm saying is. And I used to be up there and go to the court.
He'd help you more if you were retarded.
Oh, yeah, he was that type of guy. If money could buy your way to heaven, he gonna be there. And I tell anybody that because he have helped everybody.
You know, I had a problem here several years ago, and a lot of people knew about it. Nobody said a word except Jimmy Logan. He's caught me coming out of a restaurant and said, Dee, I heard about so-and-so, and I appreciated that.
Right.
Well, he wasn't asking to do it. There wasn't nothing he could do about it, but it was just, he really cares.
I got in a little trouble because Jimmy's my lawyer, but he couldn't be the lawyer. He couldn't represent me because he represent the other family too.
That's good enough.
I was out his house working. He called me on the telephone. I can't call the lawyer name, because he's a friend of mine too. Don, your lawyer ain't doing his homework. I said, what do you mean, Jimmy? He said, he ain't doing his homework. Said, this supposed to been kicked out in Sessions Court. He was telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? It should have been kicked out because it's a bunch of bull. But see, I didn't know no better, but my lawyer didn't know no better because he wasn't no criminal lawyer. See what I'm saying? But I had to go through the, what you call it, jury or whatever you call it.
I mean, it's a funny story. So I had that time I was telling you where they pulled me over and Terry searched me and everything. Well, I told Jimmy. Next thing I know, my court date, I'm sitting in there in the room, and Jimmy brings that officer in there. And I'm sitting here having to talk to that guy. Next thing I know, it all worked out and it's over.
Yeah, that's
But
what
I thought,
Jimmy did.
golly, wait, he brought the guy in there.
That's him. I got caught DWI. Well, I wasn't drinking, just when Snyder was on the force years ago. And what I did, I had a quart of beer, and police pulled me over on Central Avenue, and I stuck the beer in the seat, but the top was off.
Oh, well,
So when he shined the flashlight, the beer was all in the floorboard, but they took me up there. I never did have to go to court on that. Went to Jimmy, I could take care of it. What he'd do, he'd bring him in on a Saturday. He'd have your trial on Saturday, you know what I'm saying? He knew how to do it. Jimmy knew how to work the system.
he knows how to do it.
And you see his eyes, whole time he in court, he can work them eyes.
Boy, he'll smile.
His eyes what works the judge. Them eyes just go like that, very, very. I've been in this office and no kidding, his desk be here and papers be that high. On beside him, and he can remember every.
His memory is unbelievable.
He could remember every case. He wouldn't have to look. He wouldn't have to look. He could remember
He'll
all
know
that
the
stuff.
relatives to
That's
the
right.
case. I mean, just even things that aren't even significant.
But you got to realize, see, Jimmy was he didn't specialize in nothing because Jimmy was a lawyer that could do it all. He could do divorces.
Right.
He could do property. He could do criminal. He's not like these lawyers up here now that specialize. Jimmy specialized in everything he did.
He specialized in people.
Yeah.
He'd work it out.
But he was a good friend of mine. Well, still a good friend. Him and Cindy, we always been good friends for years. And the girls.
Now he's a Democrat such as you, right? Are you a Democrat, or what would you classify yourself?
I don't know what the hell I am. I'm whichever one. I'm Democrat, but I have voted Republican.
I voted Democrat.
I had voted independent. I did it all, but I guess I'm a Democrat now. I can go both ways, depending on who's running.
Yeah.
I mean, none of them ever helped me, so it really doesn't matter. I had to help myself. So I never had I made a lot of money when Clinton was in there.
I did too,
Money. But like I said, I had to help myself to make money. But
what do you think about Cleveland's progress and all the people moving in here, or all the houses being built? Do you think that's just a kind of a phase and it will all catch up, or do you think it's really going? Because, back in the late 70s, we had a boom, housing boom, and we had a housing boom in the 90s. We had a housing boom all the way up to 2006. So what's your take?
My take is it's going to always be a boom till it can't have no more property to be a boom. We're running out of property. My problem is our streets and roads cannot take the boom that's coming. Mm-hmm. I lived in the city. That's one reason I moved out of New York from traffic. I could walk to work probably in 20 minutes, but you get out there on them throughways and it might take you 2 hours. Mm-hmm. It's a long time. Mm-hmm. Cleveland it used to be just on Thursdays and Fridays, going down Keith Street. Mm-hmm. Now it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, bumper to bumper. Mm-hmm. When was it? Last night? Saturday night. Yeah, bumper to bumper. I'm thinking I'm in New York again, going down Paul Huff.
Golly,
it's bumper to in front of Home Depot and all that. It's bumper to bumper.
Where are they going?
They got the economy got to be good because every restaurant is full up. Mm-hmm. So you got to have money to fill these restaurants up. And what I'm afraid of, they're gonna have to do something with coming in from east, coming down in the street in the morning. It's bumper to bumper. Coming Polk County down here, because I got to pull out from there, up on the hill. It's bumper to bumper a certain time in the morning. You can't even get out the street.
More so than it used to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a whole lot more traffic since
I don't know where they're coming from. Why are they coming down there through there now?
Well, a lot of people come down. I don't know.
You think more people are moving out towards Polk County and coming back in?
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to Whirlpool. But that could be the case. They're coming down to Inman.
They don't have to go to Whirlpool that way.
Does one biscuit at Calfee's fill you up?
Most of the time. I don't, like I said, I don't think I think it's pretty the way they're doing in the street.
It's nice.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I got a problem, and like I talked to the city manager, spend some money coming in from the east.
That's where it needs to happen.
You need to beautify it. Well, we done had some meetings. Mm-hmm. I want it to look like 25th Street as you come over top the hill there. Mm-hmm. And it should look like 20, because we pay just as much tax. I pay a lot of tax money over there. Mm-hmm. I lived on Georgetown Road, and I said, well, hell, if I'm going to spend some money, taxes, I'm going to spend it in my neighborhood, in the neighborhood where blacks are, and that's where I did it. I built a house over here. But you got to spend some money over there, because I think it's a disgrace people coming in from North Carolina and Florida, coming west. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of people travel there from Florida.
Well, it seems like Georgia. That would be the easier place to make look better, because the property's less expensive.
Right. But
I bought 2 lots on 12th Street last week. You know where 12th and can't remember where 12th and something.
Were you buy that auction?
No, I saw them 2 lots, and I called a realtor, and he called the lady, and she agreed to sell them. That's the next booming area, from Inman to the railroad tracks to APD 40.
Yeah.
Everywhere there's sewer, it's going to really start booming.
I should have bought some property over 8 years ago. Guy told me that. Said, Don, so started buying some property over here near Blythe Avenue. And I was scared because of the people that lived over there. I was scared. And then a guy bought the old Chris, where Michael and Mitchell Chris used to live at house. I don't know if that's 12th, whatever. He bought that old house. It used to be an old store. He told me he'd give...
Who was it tell me that? Yesterday.
He might be lying. He told me he'd give $35,000 for it. And I tell you, there's a guy that owned the glass company.
Oh, Wesley.
Wes told me he'd give $35,000. Then he turned around and
I think he did.
Got $150,000.
That's what I heard.
See, I don't know. It might be true, but that's kind of.
But no, that's what I've heard. That's the third person I've heard that from. Let's see, who was it? I can't remember. You ever go in that coffee shop there on Wildwood, where Tree works? That brick building, that coffee shop there.
Black man owned?
No, I don't think so. I think it's some guy named Omar or something like that.
What about on Wildwood?
Used to be an old pharmacy, Wildwood, across from the Quick Check.
Black guy on that.
What's his name?
Don't too many people goes in there.
No, I go in there.
Yeah, but I'm saying a black guy.
Is he
on
black?
there.
Is he from Chattanooga?
Yeah, black guy.
Okay.
He retired.
Andre.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
I think so. He retired from real good from somewhere, the government or something. He bought that building down there on Central Avenue, too.
Well, that coffee shop is really nice. Tree runs that girl Tree.
It's not open all the time, though, is it?
It's open on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Okay, 'cause
Saturday.
I know I don't see no
Well, if
cars
you
there.
get a sore throat and you go down, I had a sore throat the other day, and I went down there and I said, ask her, she can make these herbal teas. Man, it just went away.
I never been in there.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah. It's got a little parking on the side.
Yeah, a little parking.
that's it.
She lives upstairs.
Yeah.
What's he? Wonder what possessed him to do it. How'd you know him?
I just met him because he bought the building on Central Avenue. It used to be owned by, old guy used to own city car parts.
Oh,
Old man.
Superior, that grocery store?
No, city car parts.
What's his name? Hicks?
Hicks, but the guy Hicks used to work for this guy years ago. I tell you where the guy lived at. He lived out there by the duck pond, across the street on the left.
Oh, yeah.
What his name? Well, he owned that big building on Central Avenue.
See, we should have bought that.
He lives right. He died. What's the name of the Jennings? His property joined Roger Jennings. You know, right there by the duck pond.
Yeah, but I can't think of his name.
Yeah, but he died a long time ago. But that guy, that was his warehouse. He had a lot of old cars stored up in there.
Yeah.
But he owned the city auto parts back there, then the building and stuff he was working. But
I don't know if I think that area is going to be, if they get the downtown Cleveland going, that area is going to be really worth something. Let me ask you this. What do you do on Sunday nights usually?
Football.
NFL?
Yep.
Every Sunday night during football season?
Yep.
You got a favorite team or anything?
KC.
They won, what, the last 3 Super Bowls?
I love KC.
Who's that, Kelsey or whatever?
Yeah,
Taylor
Kelsey.
Swift?
And I like Pittsburgh.
You think that's rigged?
No. I like Kelsey, and I like KC, and I like Pittsburgh, too. They're my 2 favorites. Pittsburgh Steelers.
I never watched football.
I do. I watched football for years.
You mentioned your office. You got an office beside your house?
No, down the street.
Oh. Separate from your house?
Yeah. Like
Where's your office?
on 2nd Street. I own a lot of property over.
Behind,
I own them 2 houses before you get to you down there. Before you get to the little yellow house.
my yellow house?
Yeah, I own a house over on High
Oh,
Street. And
yeah.
I own the house up on the hill before you get there. The White House on the left. Then I own that property right there across the street.
Joe V owns the house, owns a lot down from me, but he won't sell it.
I got 2 or 3 over. I got 2 or 3 lots.
You ever had to deal with Joe V?
No, I don't deal with him. He called me a couple of times, wanted me to do some work for him, but I never did probably. He ain't gonna spend nothing. He wants something done for nothing. But let me see, Charlie McKenzie had a lot there too, down on the corner from you. That lot on the corner.
Yeah, I don't.
Did you buy that?
Nope. All I got is that one on Second Street. I forgot all about that house, so I hope they don't move out.
That little yellow house?
Yeah, it's a neat little house, isn't it?
How you forget about it and you over
I
there?
just forgot.
I seen you over there the other day collecting rent or something.
No, wasn't me.
I seen
One of
you
my
over
guys.
You was over there driving your little black car.
Probably, yeah, I'm sure.
Red light.
Oh, that's right. I go into that Mexican store.
Okay.
That's a neat. Have you ever been in there?
Yeah.
Boy, that's clean.
But that, let me see. What's the address of your yellow house? No?
555 maybe?
Okay. Mine 291 before you get to your yellow house on the left.
Okay.
And then straight across, it's 2 little Habitat houses used to be in there. I own them lots this side of the Habitat house. It's
Are
an
they
open
vacant?
lot. Yeah, they vacant. Then I own the one beside the house I got on the left, the lot right beside that. Then I own the one up the hill, got a carport on it. As you come up 2nd Street, make a right, and then house on the left. Then I own the ones over on High Street going southeast.
I got one on High, close to yours, right?
That's the ones I'm talking about. High going south.
Yeah, 360 High.
They're yellow.
Yeah, yellow house.
Yeah.
Somebody painted that safety yellow.
I forgot who used to own that house.
John Paul.
Okay.
John Paul, that's where I got it. Jim Elmore.
Well, I didn't tell me who owned it before that.
I remember I had a guy that was living there, and he quit paying rent, and I went in there, and he said, "Do you believe in the Bible?" Something like that. I forget what it was, but the guy couldn't. Come to find out, he couldn't see, and it was awful, but it wasn't a problem. But anyway, so what else is going on? You got high hopes for Cleveland or what?
Yeah, it's moving on. It's coming up. It's going to be like Asheville, North Carolina. We'll have all this beauty stuff, especially when they get over there in Old Fort over there and do that where Whirlpool used to be. It's going to be pretty nice. They put a convention center in there.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I hear.
Yeah, they got plans for it. They doing the sidewalks, and this phase after that, they'll start somewhere else.
They must get grants for those sidewalks.
They do. And they get grants from us, too, when we pay our taxes.
Yeah.
It's going to be another tax increase this year.
I hope not.
Well,
I can't hardly pay no more property taxes.
It's going to be it this year. It's already being discussed, so.
Boy, if it does, everybody's going to they're going to decide they don't want that stuff.
It's coming. I've already done heard it through the grapevine. You got to do that. You got to pay for all these sidewalks and all this new stuff. I mean, sometimes you got to have taxes to pay for all this stuff.
But how's that going to help somebody that doesn't want sidewalks?
But I'm saying that's with everything. You got to pay for it. You can't do it, the city can't do it all. They got to get tax revenue from somewhere. I don't like paying no taxes either, but with everything they doing, you're going to have to pay taxes, more taxes.
Yeah, they're going to have to pay for it. Well, of course, they say they're getting grants.
Yeah, but the grants not doing
They won't cover it all.
They won't cover it all.
That's just enough to get you started.
Get you started. And you see what they doing, the cartel, what they spend in Johnson Park down there.
Yeah. Lots.
I mean, there's a lot of money in that park where they got it done. So, somebody's got to pay for it.
I get down to Inman Street a little bit quicker now.
You do?
I do. It seems like the traffic moves a little quicker.
Going that way, it's depending on what time.
I guess so, yeah.
In the morning, you can't go.
Of course, nowadays, I just go around because I'm out of the habit, right?
Yeah. I use Inman Street all the time. That's where I go less than I go around 20th Street, AP 40 to 20. But
what you got going on tonight? You're gonna watch football
finish
tonight?
watching football and go home and
What are you gonna eat?
Oh man, I'm the cook. I made a big pot of homemade soup.
What you put in it?
Everything.
Celery?
Everything except the kitchen sink.
Celery?
Celery, green pepper, white beans, lima beans, butter beans, corn.
Boy.
Chopped chicken,
Tomatoes?
chopped roast.
Tomatoes?
Yeah, because I grow my own tomatoes.
What do they call it, a kitchen sink?
Yeah, when you make it like that. Chopped chicken, chopped beef, onion, tomato paste, tomato sauce, frozen tomato that come out of my garden. It's good.
And just a little too salty?
You know what?
That's what I like.
Mine is not as salty as I usually like it. Because I got high blood pressure, and I still use a lot of salt, but...
Can you use that sea salt? Does it help?
That shit ain't worth
it. It don't work out. You have to put it 3 times as much.
Yeah, it don't work.
I don't believe that salt hurts you that bad.
Well, you got to realize when we was growing up, everything we ate was salted pork.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, we lived on the farm, ham, country ham, salted pork chops, everything was then salt, because that's the way they cured the meat.
That's why they sold Worcestershire sauce. It's just salt.
People lived a long time back then. Take my people lived a long time, 80s.
They probably lived long with high blood pressure.
Yeah, but
how high is your blood pressure?
I don't know. It's not for to be 6'4" black guy. Mine is not worritable. It get high, and then sometimes mine better than a person that weigh 180 pounds. Depending on what I eat and stuff. And what I got on my brain, a lot of times stress make your blood pressure go up. You can go to the doctor and your blood pressure get up because you're in the doctor's office. And then the first thing they want to do is put you on a pill.
You know what I do? Before they take my blood pressure, I breathe in and out 12 times. I guarantee you'll get a good result. It'll drop it.
Mine not that really high to be scared about. At least the doctor not scared.
Some people just run with high blood pressure.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal.
She got me on 10 milligrams. 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening.
Will you cook cornbread too?
Oh yeah.
A little burnt on the sides.
On the bottom.
Real butter.
Take and put a whole thing of butter and some what you call it, honey in it. Put some honey in it. In my cornbread.
I hadn't done that before.
Yeah, when I mix my cornbread up, I put honey. And then I take a big stick of margarine and go across the top when it's done. And I take honey and put across the top of that, just spread it with the margarine.
And then stick it in the oven just another second or two. Boy, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, but I made a big pot.
Do you make it out of cast iron skillet?
What, my
cornbread?
Yeah. Got old black cast iron stick.
Boy, it's good, isn't it?
That's what you call rough grub, soul food.
Any Worcestershire? Any Tabasco?
No, I didn't use that. I got some. Your daddy used to eat all that type of food.
Oh, yeah. Do you know my dad?
Yeah, I know your dad. Your dad's a good friend. He's come to the 100 Black Man.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Till he moved to Chattanooga. He hadn't been since he moved to Chattanooga.
So you knew him pretty well?
Yeah.
I guess y'all are about the same age. He may be a little older. He's older than you.
Your dad is 70, what?
79, maybe?
Yeah, he probably 70.
Yeah. He's about 6 years older than you?
4 years, 3, 4. Yeah. He used to be in that office exercising.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was exercising. But he always liked me. Me and him was good friends.
Does 100 Black Men, they still have a meeting every year? Every
year. We hadn't had it since COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So what we do, we just do things and get donation. I'm the first 100 Black man of Brady County. Is
there really 100, or is that just the name of it?
Used to be 100.
But the name, it may be 90 or maybe 110.
Yeah, but no, you ain't got that many. It's just like church and everything fall off. You got 4 or 5 people doing all the work. That's like in every organization.
Always.
My Masonic Lodge, the same way. When the old people was in the Masonic Lodge, you have a meeting every month. Now you have a meeting every 6 months. Young people just don't keep the ball rolling like the thing.
Were you talking about the Prince Hall?
Yeah.
Y'all have a meeting how often?
Probably about every 6 months now. You used to have it every 30 days.
How many come?
About
10?
No, not that many. About 3 or 4.
It's that something.
But that's where it is everywhere. But the 100 Black Men is one of the St. Jude's and the 100 Black Men. I don't mind giving my donation. That's who I give my money to. But the 100 Black Men scares white people because it's black. Because it's black. That black scares them, but that's one of the best organizations in Bradley County because now we have white children, boys and girls, because we changed that. It was set up for young black boys at risk, New York City. Mayor Dinkins, the first black mayor, and the doctors and lawyers, they seen black kids at risk, so they set up 100 Black Men. So now it's nationwide, all over, see. We didn't have to put white kids in it because it wasn't set up for white kids. But how can you exclude white kids from being in an organization? Our bylaws, it's not there. But white kids playing with the black kids, you take the black kids fishing, you can't let the white kids just stand there. Mister, can we go fishing too? Yeah. So we started that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and having the white
that way
kids.
you're not...
Right.
Yeah.
And you got white girls and white boys now, plus we got Hispanic. And we go to the school every Friday morning, middle school, Cleveland Middle, and we mentor the kids from 6:45 to 7:20. And we got probably 45 or 50 kids that come into the room to get mentored.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, we got a good thing. But people get scared because it said black, you know, and money-wise, people just don't like to give that money, but we done gave away over $1 million worth of scholarships in the last 28 years. We spend no money on ourselves. If we have a Christmas party, we pay our tickets just like everybody else or whatever. We spend no money on ourselves. And we don't pay nobody. I think we might pay now since we, CPA, that's the only person get paid. Yeah, we gotta pay them because the guys that used to do it done got old and they don't fool with it no more. But it's one of the best organizations that you can be in. And I'm proud to be the first 100 black man of Breda County.
Well, it's always good. I've never heard of an organization quite like that. I mean, you hear of Black Lives Matter, but that's different,
no, that's
right?
a different thing, yeah. And what make us so unique, you can get 10, 12 black guys on Saturday mornings and everybody agree. So that makes a hell of a difference.
Do black guys agree as a rule?
Well, it's depending on what it's about. You know what I'm saying is.
Yeah. I mean, white guys don't agree on everything. Well, or I guess blacks are the same way, right?
Yeah,
same way.
Same thing, yeah. Some things you don't agree on. Then some of them get mad, just like white people, and stop.
Yeah.
You know, they get mad because something don't go the way and just stop and all that. That's what, same thing. It's no different than the way they act. But I had a good talk with you, brother.
Hey, I appreciate you coming. And you're a legend in Cleveland. You've done good. Everybody knows it. You've been successful. And you're a good role model. And I don't know how it could get any better.
Well, I thank you for having me. And I'm going to go home and watch a football game.
And eat some soup.